How many of us are walking around either feeling ashamed or working really hard to not feel ashamed? I'm going to talk a little bit about shame, and then in the second part of this video, I'm going to lead you through a little guided meditation healing on the issue of shame. So first of all, feel what shame feels like in your body, and notice where the center is. You might find the center in your heart. You might find the center in your belly. And there can be other areas where you feel it. But generally, these kind of things, you want to look on the midline of your body, where the chakras line up, and see where you feel certain emotions are centered. So if you feel the shame in your body, and you might not feel ashamed right now, but you can still tune into that energy, you might notice that it's a contraction. So shame is kind of a contraction of the ego for self-protection. And shame is kind of inevitable because when we grew up, when we were little kids, there were things that we couldn't do that everybody else could do. There were things that we couldn't reach, and there were skills like using a can opener, opening a can, opening a jar, reaching something in a shelf, riding a bike, driving a car, whatever. So, inevitably, as children, we are shamed for what we can't do that somebody else can do. Usually another kid that's just a little older that can barely do it themselves. So, we get this thing of shame locked in us, and it feels horrible. And like all other horrible feeling emotions, most people do anything they can to avoid feeling that feeling. And so they distract themselves in what other way? They turn to anything. It could be from becoming a little OCD to addictions to kind of distractions to numbing out in whatever way. So here's how we're going to do a little healing of that right now. And in all of these healings that I do on my YouTube channel, I'm sending energy with the intention that you will receive the energy when you watch this. Healing energy is not really bound by time and space. It's kind of like working on another dimension, just like thoughts are a different dimension than the microphone I'm speaking into. They're a different level of reality. So I want you to feel the healing as it happens, and you don't have to trust that I'm doing anything. This is about you doing it with my guidance. So I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to feel the center of your shame, and I want you to feel it in your body. And I want you to feel the texture of that shame feeling. What is the texture? What does it feel like physically, as if it were a substance. Is it liquid or solid? Is it sticky, gooey, or runny? Is it spiky? Just feel. What we want to do is we want to get a feeling for how we subjectively experience shame in our body. So feel the location, feel the texture. Now hear the sound of it. The sound might sound like your voice. It could sound like one of your parents' voices. It could be a kind of deafening silence. It could be anything. So I want you to feel the texture, hear the sound. And now I want you to, feeling that center of shame, feel how it impacts the rest of you, the rest of your body, and the rest of your emotions. And now, I want you to feel that you are adoring the child within you. Whatever age child you see, go with it. You're adoring that child who's feeling the shame. And what I want you to do is I want you to tell that child that it is absolutely allowed to feel the shame that's being felt. And go ahead and feel it. Feel it all the way. I got you. I'm holding you as you feel the shame. And this is important because when you were a child and you felt the shame, you didn't give yourself that love. That's why you still have it. So right now, I want you to love the inner child that is feeling the shame. And now I want you to imagine that you're holding the inner child, you as a child, and the child is feeling the shame. And now you're going to surround yourself with white light, a sphere of white light. Now you, the inner child and the shame, are in the center of a sphere of white light. And I want you to imagine a violet flame around the outside of that sphere of white light. Just see the flickering flames of that violet flame. And now, I want you just to relax, let go of all tension. You, the child, and the shame, all just kind of taking it down a notch of relaxation, letting the muscles relax, letting the mind relax. And just breathing and allowing any other emotions that come up as you give this child and this shame some love. And just feel that everything is resetting and coming in to a new alignment. And just allow that new alignment to happen. Not knowing how it happens, not trying to control it, just allowing. And now I want you just to let go of all of that and imagine, to whatever degree that needs to keep going, that it's going to keep going in the background. That your own love for your inner child is giving that inner child the space to release that shame, to let it move. And as it moves, allow it to move in whichever way it wants. And if it sets off other emotions, allow that to happen. And the only thing to watch out for is just do not constrict. Just relax and allow. And let everything be as it is. And if you release 1% of your shame, that's okay. If you release more, that's great. But the main thing is to realize that you are the creator of this shame, and that's not something to be ashamed of. That's something that is inevitable. And the only reason that you still have it was because that you hated it and you rejected it and you ran from it, and now you don't have to do that anymore. As you come to terms with that shame, and as you keep coming to terms with it, allowing it to be there without freaking out, without repression, then you will come into the alignment with your true self that you've always known is there as a potential. And you can run through this exercise as many times as is helpful for you, because chances are you're not going to release all your shame in one day using one exercise. But remember, we're not releasing shame by going up against it, by trying to kill it. We're not empowering it by looking at it as a big, negative, scary thing. What we are doing is we're loving the inner child that has the shame and allowing it to be there and allowing it to wake up to the truth. And the truth of you is not something that requires any shame. It's not something where shame would be helpful to you in any way. So thanks for watching, and if there are any other emotions that you would like me to go through in this way, put it in the comments. Tell me what you're going through and what you want to achieve and what you want to clear. And I'll do my best to get to that. Thanks for watching.